Will Scream 6 happen? Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Name it.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes dead is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're going to talk about the possibilities of the next Scream film happening, what's going on with that. We're going to talk about all that in just a second here, but first, I'm going to need you guys to like this video, subscribe to KillJoy Jake, and if you can, support me on Patreon. It keeps this channel going. The link for that will be in the description below. Getting into this though, my biggest argument about Scream 6 happening is the fact that, once again, horror movies are king at the box office over this past holiday weekend. Scream has passed up Spider-Man No Way Home, taking the top spot this weekend at the box office. Let's go, baby. Our work here is done, Scream fans. We absolutely killed it this past weekend. Could not be more proud of this wonderful fandom that I absolutely love so much. Oh, this is so exciting. I could not be, this is the greatest news I have maybe ever reported on. I'm just so happy that not only in the States, we made 35 million, or we're estimated to make 35 million plus here in the States, but worldwide, it's gonna make about 53 million plus, which is crazy. But if you don't account for inflation, this movie could surpass Wes Craven's original film, which is insane to think about. Now, with that being said, I do wanna mention that no matter what this film makes at the box office, it will never be more important than Scream 96. I love this film a lot. I know you guys have probably seen my non-spoiler or spoiler reviews. I absolutely love Scream 5. It blew my mind. I'm not going to spoil anything in this video, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I will specifically not spoil anything. I'm always gonna, if I do talk spoilers more in the future about Scream 5, I might do a Scream 6 spoiler, like theory video talking about what could happen in that based off of stuff, but this will not have any spoilers specifically in this video. But something I want to make clear is that I don't think any sequel to Scream is ever going to be as important as the 96 film. That film has so much weight to the horror genre. We probably, if without it, not only would I not be talking about a Scream film, a new Scream film, obviously, but I don't think I'd even be here. I don't think my channel would exist without the original Scream, just because how dead in the water horror was in the mid-90s, man. I mean, without that film, we might not have a shit ton of classics that came out within like just the past 20 years or so. So that film will forever be one of the most important horror films, up there with Halloween 78. Those two, I would say, are some of the most important horror films ever made. So nothing's going to surpass that in weight to the genre, but I will say this film, in my opinion, perfectly comments on the state of movie talk and how we discuss movies with each other. This film, if you take nothing else away from it, I want people to not be toxic when talking about this movie. If you liked it, you disliked it, that's totally fine. However you felt about a movie, that's fine. This goes with any movie, by the way. Just don't be toxic to people based on their film opinion. People are not idiots if they don't like Pulp Fiction. People are like, that's insane. That's a ridiculous argument to say someone's an idiot for not liking a film. So don't be saying that to people. That's just not, that's toxic. It's the definition of toxicity, and don't give backhanded comments towards people who have a difference in opinion. But at the same time, you should defend your point if you liked the film against somebody, but just don't do it in a way that's like, you don't mean any harm. You shouldn't be meaning harm by expressing your film opinion. Now, although a lot of people did not like this, I do want to defend my point as to why I wanted Scream 6 to happen and why I really liked this film. Because the biggest argument I'm seeing across the board pretty much is that people didn't like this film because it was so different from the other Scream films, like the change of pace. It's much fast-paced, much more fast-paced than all the other movies. For sure, people didn't like that. I saw a lot of people complaining that didn't really slow down at the end of like the first act, beginning of the second, before like another kill. That was a big problem with some people. Another thing that a lot of people didn't like was like the ending, which once again, I'm not going to spoil. But here's my biggest argument against that. In the 2000s, and the early 2010s, we saw all these remakes come out where basically the goal of like studios like Platinum Dunes, that was behind a lot of those films, like for example, Texas Chainsaw, the Friday the 13th remake, their biggest goal was just to recreate that same magic from the original film and try to copy that same energy. And while a lot of those films just didn't come out all that great, I mean, I like the 2003 Texas Chainsaw and I like the 2009 Friday the 13th, but did those films really do anything special for their respective franchises? No, I would argue not. I think they're fun films. Like, I think Friday 2009 is awesome, but it kind of just, you know, blends in with all of the other Friday films. It doesn't do anything significantly different, and neither does Texas Chainsaw 2003. I think they both have good casts and they have some fun characters and some fun kills along the way, but that's really all they have to offer. This film does something completely different, changes up the style, and has some great social commentary. That's my big thing though. Would you have rather have seen the new directors, whoever it would have been? Let's say maybe it wasn't Radio Silence, just anybody trying to copy Wes Craven's style or to do their own thing with what they're comfortable with. That's my biggest argument with this film. I would have, at any day of the week, would have rather seen people just do their own thing with a new Scream film instead of trying to copy Wes Craven, because I just don't think it would have came out the same. It just would have been like more of what we've already seen in the past. And with a sequel, I'm always looking for something new and different, because if you want to see that same magic of like the original film, go back and watch the original film. I want something new and different with every single sequel. Those are the best franchises in my opinion. Like, for example, Evil Dead is easily one of the best horror movie franchises ever. I absolutely love that franchise for just doing something different with every sequel. Everybody has a different favorite Evil Dead movie. Everybody. It's awesome. Like, I just love how some people love the remake. Some people love Army of Darkness. Some people swear by 2 and say it's way better than the original. That says something about a franchise, for sure. Another movie I wanted to bring up was Terminator 2. Like, look at that movie. Look at how wildly different that one is from the first movie. The first one is arguably much more of a horror film than the other Terminator films. And then the second one goes full on action horror, like, I guess arguably horror. It's much more like action sci-fi, I would say, for Terminator 2. But it's wildly, like, and same with Aliens. Aliens is kind of the same situation. James Cameron, you know, what a surprise. It's much more action sci-fi than opposed to the original, where like the first Terminator and like the first Alien are much more horror, I would say. And I've gotten in this argument before with people. Watch the first Terminator again. That ending scene is horrifying. Like, that's a horror movie right there. Maybe not so much the sequels, but that first one is for sure a horror movie. All day, every day, I'm taking the fact that Radio Silence did their own thing with this movie, did things that I'm not going to spoil, but that they've always wanted to see in the franchise they put in this movie. I loved it. I was a big fan of it. If you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be on Paramount Plus. I think it's 45 days after its release. I said recently on a live stream that it was 4 weeks, but I believe it's 45 days. You weren't able to see it in theaters in your area. I know some people are kind of upset that they weren't able to see it and they're still trying to dodge spoilers online. So just a recommendation, I would avoid going to my comment section if you have not seen the film yet, because I have already had people talking about the movie and it's just unavoidable at this point. So I would avoid Scream pages, avoid my comment section, avoid just like social media in general until you can see the movie. That's my best advice there. I would love to see a Scream 6, and if it definitely could happen now with this movie being so successful at the box office, its opening weekend, it might surpass the original, which is a huge sign to production studios. So I 100% think a Scream 6 could get announced soon, and will Radio Silence do it? Heck yeah! Who else is gonna do it? I'd say Radio Silence for sure needs to make a new trilogy of Scream films. I've been preaching that since the beginning, and with Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt writing, it's going to be fantastic. I absolutely love the way those guys write dialogue and stories, especially like Guy Busick when he wrote Ready or Not. I just love the story and the whole plot, how fast-paced that movie is. And we see that again here in the new Scream. I would love to see a whole trilogy of films just like that. I think it would be really fun and different from the other films in this franchise. Let's go for it. That's what I say. Leave me a comment down below if you have seen the film and you think that whatever your opinion is on a Scream 6. Do you want it to happen? Do you not want it to happen? Do you want different people to be in charge of it this time around? Leave me a comment down below about it. And once again, guys, let's just not be toxic. Just give me your opinion. If you didn't like this film and you maybe have a different director in mind, that's what I would like to hear about. Please tell me if you have any other recommendations for different people to do the new Scream. I would love to talk about that. Thank you all so much for watching my new Scream 6 update video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, do all that mumbo jumbo because it makes me real happy and I won't cry myself to sleep tonight. Follow me on all my social medias, support me on Patreon if you can. The link for all those things I just mentioned will be in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.